Hey guys, happy holidays to you, and I have here a very quick look at the Ducky One 2 Mini. Now, this is actually my gift to my nephew, and I have to say I was a bit tempted to keep it all to myself, but thanks to self-control, it's now all wrapped up and I stopped myself from using it, further. I didn't even get to game with it. Now on the board, this is a 60% keyboard, so it's much smaller than a TKL setup, and it also comes with double shot PBT keycaps. The layout is definitely something I'm not used to and probably why I would rather pick Ducky's TKL version. I saw my nephew's desktop space and what he had to work with, and I think 60% would suit him better. The overall look of the keyboard has cleaner lines and less of that quote-unquote gamey look. This would look great, or at least I suppose it would look great on desktop areas that push for the clean or clutter-free looks. And when you look at the top side, there's really nothing there that stands out except for maybe the colored keycaps. But other than that, again, as I mentioned, the clean look. Inside the box of the Ducky One 2 Mini are some useful things like the keycap puller, the extra space bar, some random keycaps, and as I understand, the keycaps that go with any of the Ducky keyboards are very random. You also get a USB to USB-C cable, and you also get a manual, and I really have to stress how important that manual is, but we'll find out a bit later. This particular board came with the blue cherries, which I haven't really used in a very long time. I used to game in an area where people would get, well, I would say annoyed by the amount of sounds coming from my board, so I had to switch over to the silent cherries some years back. But listening to them now makes me remember why, at least listening to the blue cherries makes me remember why I picked the blues when I first tried mechanical keyboards. Let's check out the sound while we're at it. Now, going over the not so visible sides of the keyboard, the first one is the top part. You have Ducky's logo on that part that faces the monitor. Now, I think that logo could have been more subtle, but since it is at an angle that you can't see, it really, I suppose, isn't a big deal. The opposite end of that same side also houses your USB-C port. The underside is made of the same white plastic material with the board feet having two configurations. That's pretty surprising, but yeah, those configurations I suppose will depend on your height requirements. The board, when you look at its thickness, has a standard amount, so it looks pretty much like any other mechanical keyboard in terms of thickness, so I suppose the smaller feet would suit most people. In terms of the RGB goodness you can expect, or the light show you might expect from this board, I honestly didn't expect it to be so vibrant given the way the keycaps hide most of the switches. While it's nowhere near the Rocat IMO 120 I used to have, and boy, that board was really good looking, I have to say Ducky has done well in this department. The colors shine through the letters and numbers, and the plate under the keycaps, or at least the top part of the board, does pretty well in reflecting the RGB goodness. So if you were kind of worried that the light effects aren't very obvious and RGB is very important to you, don't worry, they come through nicely. In terms of configuration, here's where the manual becomes very important. Here's where you don't want to throw away the manual or just set it aside like we normally do when unboxing anything from keyboards to anything else, where we start to think that we basically know everything, we don't need to read off any manual. Yeah, that doesn't apply here. The board you see doesn't come with your standard software like Synapse or Q from Corsair, and everything is done through the key press combinations that you have to do on the keyboard itself. This basically allows you to change how the RGB patterns show, and all those instructions are found in the manual. But anyway, since this is just a quick look, let me show you how it works. So again, if you do decide to get a Ducky, make sure to keep that manual and not set it aside like we normally do. Anyway, it's a quick look at the Ducky One 2 mini board, and that's a very strange name, but this piece of hardware is really just impressive. The clean lines and simple interface is really making me think of switching over. The thing is, however, my current board is only about 3 to 4 months old, so I guess I'll stick with what I have for now. The TKL version though is definitely in my sights. So, thanks for checking this out, and I'll talk to you soon.